You want me to bust out the shark? And the suit, too.
Hi! Victory, puppy! Land the
I have no idea what I'm doing.
God to the riches only! This team is ruining my life! Are you scared? Victory! Good puppies are Iggy! Oh, you missed it! There you go, Charlie. Redemption! Yeah, no, it's okay, I still love you.
Get it and shit mean things about Nazem Kadri that's not allowed.
Hi, kids! Are you ready to sing a song? You know the words. Sing it with me!
The Leafs win! Find a three! Oh, no, Dion, I'm sorry. That's for that time you hit Grabowski in the head.
Oh, isn't having John Tavares great?
That's mean, I should stop.
Isn't having Patrick Marleau great?
This is unrelated to the Sharks, but isn't having Austin Matthews great?
Oh, having Mitch Marner's great.
This is wet now.
After all, it is a shark. They live in the ocean.
And having Bobby Hastings is great. Good morning! Everything is great!
How's the hair after that? Is acceptable.
I'll go early. Sharks fans, if I were you. I would try not to be offended by this. Honestly, the house is cold and this suit's warm. Also, I feel like I said this last time, I still don't understand what's wrong with the Sharks, and I'm not terribly convinced there is something wrong with the Sharks. Their power play is monstrous. Their penalty kill was poor in this one, but they're the top unit in the league. They have Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson. I think you just need a few more saves. But I will say this, I think what is happening to the Sharks is what I expected to happen to the Leafs and didn't really. The Leafs add John Tavares, that's obviously a great thing, but the Sharks added Erik Karlsson and didn't give up a ton off their current roster to do it. But sometimes, even when you add an elite player to your roster, it doesn't always fit right away. Something's just off. If the Sharks let this mediocre start, and it's still decent, they were just expected to be in like President's Trophy contention. If they let this mediocre start consume them, it will. It's still barely past the quarter mark. If the Sharks can just settle things down a little bit, especially in the division they're in, they'll kill it. That being said, it's gotta happen. And check this out from Sean Tierney at Charting Hockey on Twitter. In terms of Corsi for and Corsi against possession, the Sharks are monsters. They're in the good column, where the Leafs are, well, they're in the fun column. And it's fun to be in the fun section of that chart, and you can still win a lot of games in the fun section of that chart, but it's better to be in the good section. The Sharks are there. If they stay there, I think they'll be okay. That's how I would feel if I were you. Now I'm gonna change out of this because I'm hot. So hey, how about we talk about the game? Austin Matthews is back! Ooh, between Kapanen and Jawston. And he's back on the first power play unit! I love watching the Leafs' first power play, even when they struggle. Because even when it looks like the other team has them, something might be coming. The Sharks are doing a good job. They're tying up the Leafs on the left boards, and they're making Morgan Rielly's life difficult. But they give him just a little bit of space. Sends a saucer pass over to Mitch, but that puck might be a little unruly, so Mitch just turns while he receives it, cradles it like a baby, and the Sharks, they've been worrying about over there. Mitch is wide open and he received the pass clean. Who's ready for the Mitch thing? What's the Mitch thing? I don't know, it changes from shift to shift, so have fun with that. Hits Austin Matthews with a slap pass. Oh, Matthews, as he always does, passes it. John Tavares continues to score the easiest goals of his entire life. 1-0 Leafs thanks to always the playmaker Austin Matthews. You see, his campaign to have more assists than goals is going great. After this assist, the count is 10 goals to 7 assists. He's catching up. And this goal is a great example of primary assist, secondary assist. When a power play scores a goal, it's the unit. Rielly doesn't get an assist on this one, but he was working to set it up and free up space for Marner. The second Marner gets it, Kadri sets up. He's like, I'm gonna tip it. Here it comes. Because, by the way, he's one of the options for the Mitch thing. The Sharks panic, and John Tavares and Austin Matthews are somehow left all alone. Every player on that unit played their part. And one of those players is Austin Matthews, and it's so good. Okay, sorry, no, let's continue. Andreas Johnsson heads to the box. Interference call. The Leafs are on the penalty kill. I love Yanni, but if I had one criticism of him, he still takes too many calls. And that was only his 5th of the season, so he still hasn't taken a ton in 21 games. But for the amount of ice he plays and he wants to be on the penalty kill, he should take less. You know what? He's probably not even that bad. It's just that every Leaf is going to be nominated for the Lady Byng. I was about to say something about Mitch taking too many penalties, and I look, he's got 4. Only 5 Leafs are in double digits for penalty minutes, and Nazem Kadri leads the team with 16, which by his standards are downright saintly. I should probably get to the goal. This was just awful luck. The Sharks are doing such a good job of moving the puck. Freddie coming up big. Sharks still moving it. Kevin Labanc gets the puck. They're being annoying. Labanc throws a pass across the slot. That thing's going wide. Dermott just trying to do the right thing. Probably tried to bat it out of the way, but he stops it. Basically putting it on a platter for Thomas Hertl. That's in the net. Listen, that was not Dermott's fault. He was just trying to do the right thing, okay? He's young and a rookie.
rookie, and he's out there trying his best, and if you disagree, then don't talk to me or my son ever again. Game's tied 1-1. And in Hurdle's goal celebration, you can kind of tell what kind of season it's been for the Sharks, what kind of stretch. Ties the game 1-1 like halfway through the first. Yeah! Telling you, man, it's crazy how much the Sharks have struggled so far by what they were expected to be. And they almost wrote such a great comeback story against the Sabres the night before. They could have ruined the 10-game winning streak, and they could have come back from a 2-0 deficit to win it in overtime, but Jeff Skinner exists, so they're mad. Miraculously, even though they're in the same division, the Leafs haven't had the pleasure of playing Jeff Skinner yet, but I have a feeling they won't like him either. Anyway, more than halfway through the frame, Leafs back on the power play. 2 power plays in 1 period. Is it my birthday? Morgan Riley at the point. Says it to Austin Matthews! Oh, I love this song! How is he a Leaf? Dude, Tavares looks weird as hell as a Leaf still, but Austin Matthews, I still just can't believe he's ours. And oh, his 11th goal, now he's 4 ahead of his assists again. But well, that doesn't matter because Austin Matthews is a Leaf! Scores for, what is it, the 3rd or 4th straight time in a comeback game? I love that stat, but you know what? I would love it so much more if this was his final comeback game. No more getting hurt, Austin, and if anyone else tries to hurt him, then don't talk to me or my son ever again! Let's keep it going. Dying seconds of the period, the puck is in the Leafs' end. Sharks take a shot, Mitch Marner blocks it with his stick, and everything is fine. Marner looks down at his stick, but he doesn't do anything, so it must be fine. As soon as the Leafs get the puck and he realizes there's an offensive opportunity, he goes, actually, it's not fine, throws it down, and giddy up! Hyman rushing up the ice, he's got Tavares on the other side. Marner's gunning it towards the bench, but Hyman's not even looking. Bobby Hastings, one of the Leafs training staff, hands Mitch Marner his stick. Marner giddies up some more, and as far as I can tell from the replay, Hyman does not even see Marner get that stick. So either Marner called for it, JT said something, or Zach just knew that a Mitch thing was a brewing. Hyman to Marner to the most thankful pajama boy this Christmas. John Tavares from Mitch Marner, the gift that keeps on giving. John Tavares, Mitch Marner, Zach Hyman, and Bobby Hastings. They're all Leafs. Gonna throw it out there, Bobby Hastings has more points than William Nylander this season. And he has tied Frederik Andersen, who also has 1 assist, and, concerningly, is only 1 point behind Nikita Zaitsev. But the only stat that matters right now is the Leafs are up 3-1 after 1. Man, if the Leafs do the thing and the Sharks can figure it out and get to the Stanley Cup final, what a series. For the second straight game between these two, someone has scored 3 goals in 1 period. For the game in San Jose, the Sharks were up 3-2 after the first. After this one in Toronto, the Leafs are up 3-1. That's 9 first period goals in 2 games. I can count, and we head to the second. Wait, no, I'm not done talking about Bobby Hastings. I think he saw Marner look down at his stick, or maybe he even just heard the sound of the block shot and went, that's probably broken. But hilariously, when the Leafs were in a defensive situation, Marner didn't drop the stick, because he could probably fake that it wasn't broken, or at very least that he didn't know. As soon as it turns into an offensive opportunity, he's like, I better drop it. Bonus points if that was actually a Mitch Marner stick that he gave him, because that is a heads-up play. If I was back there, I'd be all panicky. I'd probably hand him a left-handed stick. That's why when their team wins, I said, when their team wins, they get a ring. Bobby, you. Early in the second period, the Leafs get a power play. Who told the refs that they're allowed to do that? Someone reminded them. This time, it's Kevin Labanc for tripping John Tavares, and the Leafs' first goal was on another Kevin Labanc tripping call. Josh Levo creating a little bit of space for Jake Gardiner, who puts it on from the point. Janssen, stopping it in front on purpose. Swats a pass to Patrick Marleau before Erik Karlsson can get it. Patrick Marleau scoring against the San Jose Sharks, and he has officially scored on all 31 NHL teams. Now, I know what you're thinking. No, Patrick Marleau did not score against the Hartford Whalers, but here's how long Patrick Marleau has been putting pucks in nets. His rookie season in the NHL was also the Carolina Hurricanes' rookie season in the NHL. Marleau did, however, score against the Atlanta Thrashers, so here's another question answered by NHL Public Relations. With a goal tonight against his former team, look at this wicked picture. Patrick Marleau becomes the 25th player to score at least 1 goal against all 31 NHL teams. Now, I realize the Thrashers are actually the Jets franchise, but it is technically true that Marleau has scored against 32 NHL teams. I wonder how many players can boast that. Patty, man, he's a good player. Shortly after, it is the Sharks on the power play, because apparently everything regresses to the mean, including amount of penalties called. The Sharks power play, which has been lethal all night, looks like the Leafs actually kill this one off. Until the dying seconds of it. All night, the Leafs have been doing a good job with spreading out Aaron Dell. The Sharks do that to Freddie on this one. Joe Pavelski with the one-timer that was going wide, and Freddie banks it in. It's 4-2. Honestly, it's Joe Pavelski. He might have even meant to do it. Certain guys always kill the Leafs. Pavelski always kills the Leafs. And Travis Dermott skates over to the bench after and goes, my bad. And I feel bad for the kid too, because it's his 23rd game, just his 2nd minor. In his first 2 professional seasons in the AHL, that was a knock against him. He takes too many calls. But in what was his 60th NHL game in this one. That was only his 6th minor, so he averages only 1 penalty every 10 games. Listen, the Leafs are going for the big popcorn maker, but if nothing else, they're gonna leave with the Lady Bing. About halfway through the 3rd period, this one's now 5-on-5, which is rare. The Leafs first? Second? Third line? What is this? Whatever the Matthews, Jawston, Kapanen line is, they get the Sharks all mixed up. Karlsson is in front with Matthews, but nobody's got Kapanen. Karlsson abandons his post to get Kapanen because Pavelski is right there. He takes over for Matthews. But who's got Jawston? That guy who just scored a hat trick, by the way. Brent Burns is nowhere near him, but he at least tries. He fires it on. Why are they celebrating? Wait, really? No, roll that back. Let me see the replay. Oh my goodness, it goes in as perfectly as it possibly could. Oh my goodness, look at Matthews' reaction. He knew it was in right away. He could see it. He's got such great vision. I love him. And then Greg Millen pointed out on the broadcast, oh, I love him even more. Matthews knew it was in because he actually got a piece of it. That line connects Kapanen to Jawston to Matthews and in. Matthews, buddy, I don't think you're going to pull it off. His 12th goal to go along with 7 assists in 12 games. We joked about it on the most recent podcast. Matthews 50-50 is still alive. Now, the Leafs had the 3-goal lead, but the Sharks have been buzzing all period. They're flying. Man, even watching them, I can't tell why they don't have more wins. But they got a good one here. Less than 2 minutes to go in the game. Donskoy flying down the wing. Melker Karlsson gets behind everybody. Donskoy to Karlsson. Wow. Making it look easy on that one. What a tip for his 2nd of the season. The Sharks are in it. Listen, fearing a Leafs collapse is just ingrained into my DNA, alright? It's easier said than done to have positivity. But no! The Leafs shut the door. And to quote John Bartlett from the end of the game, the Leafs have won 6 straight at home. And I don't even know how he found this. The Leafs have won 6 straight at home, all by multiple goals for the first time since March of 1968. Can you believe that Marleau was only 5 years old? I'm joking. So, yada yada yada, the Leafs just did something for the first time since before the moon landing. Remember the Leafs' struggles at home? Where? Now, it was, of course, not the Leafs' prettiest win ever, getting outshot 41-29. Their penalty kill was an abysmal 1-for-3, but their power play was a wicked 3-for-4. Matthews playing under 15 minutes in this one, still leaving the game with a team-high 5 shots and 2 goals, 1 assist. Goofy! I love it! And now the Leafs don't play until Saturday. That is important because the Leafs are playing in Minnesota, which means it's time for the annual Jake Gardiner Cup, where the Leafs play each other in an outdoor practice, apparently with a trophy provided by Jake Gardiner's dad. Did you know that? They gotta re-sign him now. What are they gonna do when they play in Minnesota next year? And something else around the corner. The deadline for William Nylander. Chris Johnston get everyone hot and bothered. We've had a William Nylander sighting! He skated in Stockholm today, that's in Sweden by the way, with the AIK under-20 team and is still wearing a Leafs helmet. Hashtag Nylander watch. Questions. I like this. Not a question, but I think Sheldon Keefe deserves a shout out for becoming the winningest coach in Marlies franchise history last night. 158 wins in 247 games. Played a huge part in the Leafs rebuild. Mark UK Leaf, he's an excellent follow. If you're not following him already, you should. I don't know if the Philadelphia 76ers have a copyright on the process, but Sheldon Keefe has been a huge part of the process with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Not the Marlies, the Leafs. Look at the Leafs right now. How many of those guys have played for Sheldon Keefe? He gets those players ready for Mike Babcock, he gets them ready for the National Hockey League, and he gets them ready for Leafs hockey. Hashtag branded. Keeping him after all the rumors last summer? Huge. Wait, no, I like this one. How much would the Leafs have to pay Bobby Hastings when his contract is up? Do you expect him to hold out now that he is a proven assist machine? Well, you know, you ask a good question. Because the important thing as Leafs fans is when someone on the Leafs is having success, that we feel bad about it. Like, you know how Marner's putting up a bunch of points right now? Oh, no, that's a bad thing. I don't know. I think the only solution is to trade Bobby Hastings. I think whether he signs or not, this is his last season as a Leaf, and we should resent him for it. I don't know. I guess final answer is the only solution is a bridge deal. When he signs, oh, I like that. When he signs, how quickly does Willie get put back into game action? Immediately? A couple practices? One practice would be nice, and that's what Matthews got in before returning. But I think Matthews showed in this one that the best practice might just be getting into a game. That's either your top line or your second line or your 1A or whatever, but when they come back, just don't play them that way. Do exactly what you did with Austin in this one, 15 minutes. So here's what happens. The Leafs play in Minnesota on Saturday, December 1st. They get a couple days off. Then it's Buffalo on the road, day off, Detroit at home, day off, Boston on Saturday. Followed by 2 days off. Surely you get a practice in there somewhere. And also a 4-game road trip. Fun! Playing Willie against the red-hot Buffalo Sabres all of a sudden in his first game back would be quite the FU. And perhaps deserved. Get in there and play, you think you're worth so much. But I would think think a good bet would be Detroit. I bet they practice after the Sabres game because it's a road game, but is it? And then you get Detroit at home. And I'm sure that's not the last I'll be talking about Mr. Nylander in the next few days, so why don't I wrap it up there? That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe, please, if you really liked it. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers, folks. Tell all your friends. You can pre-order the book down below. Got some merch as well. Brand new Panago Pizza, Steve Dangle podcast. What else? I don't know. I should end it before the battery dies.